As you can see, it is Monday, February 12th, 2018. I'm back at Walter's house instead of out there pimping knives today. And I know a lot of you are going to say you told me so. But I guess you could probably tell by now that I have quit the knife gig again. Yeah. Ow, I think I just broke the chair. To make a long story short, it's the same story as before. Basically, they refused to pay me. This time not for one day, but for a whole week. Yeah. Basically had me working for free for a whole week. This is while I was up in Orlando at the OBT, or the Orange Blossom Trail store. So what they did was they paid my last paycheck, which was last Friday, and they shorted me $400, which was a week's draw. And then they didn't send me the report so that I could figure out what happened until late that evening. And when I looked at it, I was like, you know, they counted me not there that Friday that I hadn't worked, which is why they refused to pay the draw. But I was there. You know, I'm basically there as I'm supposed to be and do all the shows that I'm supposed to do each day, which is 12 shows. But they said, well, they had a hard time believing that I couldn't sell that many knives, that if I was really there that I didn't sell that many knives, so they're not going to pay it. Well, my response to that was, well, then I'm out of here. They needed to fix the situation this weekend, and I let my boss know that, Kirk, and they didn't fix it. So this morning, you know, I let him know. He kept asking. Okay, here's the other interesting thing that you know, if you've been following the situation. They have the workers move the knives around from location to location. Well, I was actually based out of Melbourne last 2 weeks, which is why you might have seen a lot more episodes occurring around Walter's house. It's because they were trying to save money from having to pay me for travel, the gasoline reimbursement and whatnot. So they assigned me to the store at West Melbourne. So I was actually out here close by and was working in Brevard County in Melbourne and didn't really get to claim much gas mileage and whatnot. But the thing is, we didn't sell out all the knives, which we normally don't. They order like 2 pallets of knives that show up, and I only sold about a quarter or a third of the shipment. So then I had to take the rest and move them. But obviously you cannot move 2 pallets worth of inventory in your van or car in one day. It's going to take a couple days of hauling it, and we're talking like, it's very heavy because it's metal. The knives are solid metal, solid steel, stainless steel. So it would take a couple days to do it. And they have us move to a new store on Wednesday night, so I hauled the stuff up to Orlando, which I was at the store off Highway 50, which is known as Colonial Highway, you know, Colonial, in East Orlando. And that store was pretty slow, but I had hauled part of the inventory up there and was there until Friday when they gave me, you know, my pay stub, which showed I was missing $400. They didn't resolve it, so I quit. Now the issue is this: I still have their inventory. So they were planning on letting me quit until I guess they realized, holy schmoly, Denoy has about $12,000 in inventory with him. So what do we do now? Well, they got in touch with me this morning, and they don't want me to leave. They still want me to stay, but I'm like, look, I can't work with you guys. You guys aren't honorable. You told me when I was hired that I was working for a draw, and I knew that, you know, the draw is basically a loan, but I was counting on getting better stores so I could eventually earn enough money to cover it. But you keep putting me at crappy stores. But not only that, you're not even honoring the draw. You shorted me a whole week, and those who have been following the series from the very beginning, you know that's what happened a year ago when I quit. You know, I don't like working with people who aren't honest. I don't like liars. You know, and I like to be paid when I work, and not be accused that I didn't work when I did work. So basically I told them I was resigned, and that unless they pay me, you know, what they owe me, which is 2 weeks draw and the extra 2 days for the Thursday, Friday that I worked in Colonial, and all the fees, the travel reimbursements and food and other purchases. I'm filing a complaint with the Department of Labor and the State Attorney's Office. That's where we're at right now. One of the higher bosses, you know, called me directly, and I sent him the email detailing what they need to do to resolve the situation, which is basically pay me what is owed. Now, they still wanted me to stay and work with them, but I'm like, I'm out of there. I don't want to stay anymore. I don't trust you, you know. You didn't honor your own agreement, your own contract with me. So I gave them till tomorrow to give me a response and pay me, or I will be going to the State Attorney's Office and the Department of Labor to file a formal complaint. So stay tuned. Let's see what happens.